Good morning, friends and neighbors. Hope you got a coffee, maybe a break, have a smoke. So, I've spoken before about optical emission spectroscopy, and I worked for a company called Gerald-Ash on their optical spectrometer lines as a service engineer. And one of the proofs for the optical emissions, optical spectrums that our instruments were tested against came from films developed by the Vatican universities in this case. So I've really wondered for almost decades now what their interest in optical spectrum, optical emissions was. Why would they publish a book of plates the size of a coffee table? Not on this is a big photographic plates with just lines. The plates were put on a wall in a room and then exposed with some very special optics techniques that split the light into each individual color bar, color band, color line, color spectrum, and angstroms is one of the measurements used in those conversations. So why would the Vatican be so interested in this? Big part of it, the research informs us about elemental composition. So how pure is pure? How high a quality is quality? How long will something last because of some of the contaminants in it? We have ideas about how these things work and math that supports how these things work. So why is the Vatican so interested in optical emission spectroscopy? I just gave you a hint. It informs us about the elements within the compounds, within the cells, within whatever the machine can be made to look at. It also tells us about the stars. This optical emissions, the frequency shift of optical emissions, the Doppler effect on optical emissions. We can hear a train and listen to the Doppler effect in audible emissions, ears. Those light, the colors we see have totally different meaning, different way, right? This is what the Vatican universities knew anyway. So their interest was in the stars. This supported some of the greatest telescope research. So the Vatican likes telescopes. And you have an idea what they're looking for, but we haven't found yet. So just fascinating. That spectrometer in labs across the planet. A lab in Russia, and a story of an engineer that got trapped there for months because Russia took apart electronics and didn't put them back together working. A story of a spectrometer installed in an Iraqi commercial nuclear plant that Israel blew up that might have needed to be serviced at some time. The joke. So mines, metalwork, mineral testing, metallurgy uses these instruments. Chemists use these instruments. And yet some of that fundamental research from, just 5, 6, 7, 8 generations ago has made the cell phone possible. There's a little bit of what we know with coffee. This research, in realizing there are isotopes out there, led to many other instruments that better detect those isotopes because their mass is different. This is amazing detail levels of understanding, which came from understanding. So if you mail in a coupon, we'll send you a certificate. Bad joke there.